you. Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully you're doing right after the lunch, because I'm not. It will be actually interesting to compare what the colleague was talking and what's written in his chapter, because I think there are some overlaps and interesting ones. But I'll start with the statement that I'm an engineer and my work is in cybersecurity. And when I heard that the topic I have to research is about information warfare, or specifically warfare for a start, my first reaction was, boy, I'm in trouble. And a big one for that matter, because I knew that warfare is actually a very complex topic that includes a lot of different things I'm not an expert in. I don't want to be expert in, and certainly I cannot be expert in for the 6 months or so that we have on disposal. Nevertheless, I had a stroke of luck, and as they say, the luck is the most important thing in life, so yeah, I was lucky. Anyway, what is the goal of my presentation? Actually, the goal is that I show you the basis of my chapter and my research, how I was thinking and what I was thinking, with the idea that if I expose those ideas to wider audience, then we can discuss them and we can find if there are some problems with it, and maybe even to strengthen a bit terminology, because no matter how lucky I was, still I had to venture out into different areas that I'm not expert in. So with that said, these are some key aspects I'm going to cover within the presentation. So the first is concept of warfare in general. I'll try to frame what the warfare is from slightly different perspective, which will allow me then to also frame the information warfare, which is the basic topic of this talk. And then it will allow me to compare, not to compare actually, but to relate information warfare to other types of warfare. Now, I won't go into all the possible types of the warfare, and there are many of them. Only the quoted similar ones, those are the ones that also have a basis in information in some way. And then I will place a little bit more emphasis on the cyber warfare and information warfare for a variety of reasons. One of them is that obviously I know cyber very well. And the second one is because due to the technological development, cyber is actually the dominant way of waging information war today. So here is actually the start and stroke of luck that was given to me. Actually, it was literally given to me because my partner in chapter, or in crime, however you want to say it, sent me a definition of warfare. And in this definition, it says that warfare is, for a starter, more technical than legal term. And second, and more importantly, it's actually a way or activity to fighting a war. And there are obviously the main things, weapons and methods of fighting a war. Now, weapons in case of information warfare is disinformation, or more generally still information. But the other part, methods, is what was interesting to me, because methods are actually tactics and techniques that are used to operate in a certain situation. And this is actually the part that was key to further development, because the consequence of this look at the definition of the warfare is that whatever we call warfare has actually, must have actually the set of tactics and techniques that are non-trivial, this important emphasis, but nevertheless must have a set of tactics and techniques. And if it has, then we can call it a warfare. Otherwise, it's probably more of a marketing term than something that's really warfare. Now, one additional thing, and related to the previous presentation, is that because tactics and techniques can be in general used by anyone, it also means that they can be used by non-military, civilians, criminals, whoever, and they can also be used outside of the war situation or some conflict situation. So I regard this as some added benefit to hold the story. Now, it's not that this is something totally new. Whoever knows cyber knows that there is something called military attack pattern, which is actually a database of all the tactics, techniques, and procedures that are spotted in the wild used by attackers. And this is quite comprehensive database that turned out to be very beneficial for the development of cyber protections, but also for cyber offensive. And for that reason, I found it very interesting to apply this pattern or principle into information warfare. Now, the information warfare for itself, as we said in the previous slide, needs to have tactics and techniques to be regarded as a warfare. And for that, I was looking into this information life cycle. Now, how this information is created, how it's progressed, and stuff like that. And when we look into this information life cycle, I think we can identify 4 phases of its lifetime, each of which we can say it's actually a tactic. Now, one very important emphasis I have to place is that military attack pattern actually is not is a catalog that doesn't have to be used fully by every threat actor or every attacker. So it's the same here. Even though this information life cycle has 4 phases in general, it doesn't mean that for every disinformation, all 4 will be used. In certain cases, only a subset of them will be used. Now, these 4 phases or tactics are generation, so generating information, production, publication, and then dissemination. Very important thing, which actually disconnects other types of warfare, for example, psychology warfare and similar, is that we explicitly don't care about why certain disinformation is created, how it affects targets. So we do not think about that. And the inspiration for such approach comes actually from the branch of security called information security. Now, information security is done by any company today, or organization in general, because it's the main mean for the organization to keep its information secure. And information security takes care about the information, but it doesn't go into its meaning and its effects. It is outside of the scope of information security. So, in the similar vein as the information security, we say information warfare deals with spreading disinformation and modifying it in some way, but not into why it's created or how it affects targets. Now, these are obviously important questions and important things to take into account, but later I will show you where this why and how are placed actually. If it wants to work, then we can go further. Okay. Now, a little bit more terminology, because during the presentation I'm mixing several terms, but formally they are not the same. There we have information operations as one key term or concept. Namely, information operation is nothing else but the sequence of tactical steps that someone does in order to achieve some end goal. And basically, every warfare with its own tactics and techniques has also operations which are combining these basic steps in order to achieve something. So information warfare is the same in that respect. We also have additional term, this is operator or information operations operator. Actually, this is the person that coordinates everything, all the tactical steps, and basically takes care that everything is progressing towards the desired end. Now, one note, and not so unimportant, is that I'm mixing information warfare and information operation in the following slides. But they are distinct, obviously. But nevertheless, I think that from the context it will be clear when I'm talking about one or the another one. So, the other different types of warfare, there are many of them, as I said. Some are real, some are more marketing types. The reason is why marketing, because if you say something is warfare, basically you are getting on your importance and the importance of what you are doing. So basically, people are using term warfare very easy and they are trigger lucky. Anyway, the warfares that I'm interested here and what I'm going to try to relate to information warfare are the ones that are shown here on the list. So there is a psychological warfare, cognitive, political, then propaganda, disinformation, cyber warfare, electromagnetic warfare, social media warfare. I won't go into details of what each one of those warfares is, nor their differences. For example, psychological cognitive warfare is interesting because the distinction between them is tough, to say at least. But nevertheless, I'm going to try to put them in perspective with respect to information warfare. And now, what are the relationships between those warfare types? Again, I have to emphasize that I'm putting in the center information warfare. If I were to put something else in the center, then the picture would be different. Because the relationship between them is complex. It's not so simple as if we are looking just one. And in this case, if we are looking at the information warfare, then we have a first set of warfare types, and those are that use information warfare. So for example, psychological warfare is actually using information warfare as a tactical step, or better to say as a technical step, because it implements some technique for the psychological warfare. So in some sense, those types of warfare are above information warfare. Then we have those that are used by information warfare. And the set of those is, for example, cyber warfare, electromagnetic warfare, social media warfare. And finally, we have those that are subset of the information warfare. And as such subset is disinformation warfare. The reason I placed disinformation warfare as a subset is because I mentioned that there are 4 tactics in the information warfare, but actually there are 5. And the 5th one is preventing information from spreading around. So you, in some way, try to block real information from reaching targeted audience in order for the disinformation to reach the first one. And in such way, you are using, from the psychology, anchoring bias, because people, whatever they hear first, they are basically believing in that, and it's very hard to change their opinions. So basically, there are 5 tactics, and looking at this disinformation warfare, I don't think that this 5th one is part of disinformation warfare, but nevertheless, obviously, it's debatable as everything else. So, the ones that use information warfare as their targets, and now I'm going back to the question why and for what purposes, is actually that psychological warfare, cognitive and political warfare are actually using information warfare. And actually each one of them, for example, psychological warfare, when someone has psychological operation, they know what to push to, they know what they want to push to the people. They use psychology in order to assess how this is going to impact people. And basically they define what should be served, to whom, and why. Now, why may or may not come from the psychological warfare. It depends now if there is something above psychological warfare, someone else if has a purpose, or there are some different cases, obviously, but I'm not going into them. What is important is the psychological warfare actually defines what and whom. And now the psychological warfare defined what and whom, and this is given to information warfare operator, whose purpose is to target identified group with this disinformation. And what the information operator can do, he or she won't change the meaning of the disinformation, only the form maybe. Now, when I said the form, then I think that information comes in multiple forms. For example, we have video, we have audio, we have text, we have pictures, and we have all the possible combinations. Now, information operations operator can transform between them, can create duplicates or morph them or whatever, but basically it doesn't care or doesn't try to change the meaning, because meaning is defined by someone else, and that someone else knows why he or she is doing. So basically, this is the case in which information warfare is used by someone else. Now, we have the cases of warfare used by information warfare. And here we have cyber warfare, electromagnetic warfare, social media warfare. Now, social media warfare I placed as a warfare because the manipulation on social media is very complex activity. And we have a lot of companies, marketing agencies, who knows what not, built around this topic, which means that very likely this topic is warfare for itself. Anyway, information operations can use those warfares as a technical implementation of some tactical step. For example, electromagnetic warfare. We can use electromagnetic warfare to block some signals, meaning we block spread of the information that we deem that is making us some kind of a damage, if we are attacker, obviously. Or we can use electromagnetic warfare to spread disinformation, for example, by emitting something on the radio waves or who knows what not. So basically, information warfare has a certain number of options of using different warfare types. And final part of the presentation actually is the cyberspace operations or cyber warfare, basically, and it's a relationship to information warfare. For a start, I want to emphasize the complexity of cyberspace operation. Namely, we all think as cyberspace operation as one entity. But during the one project we had, which was dealing with the protection of critical infrastructure, it turned out it's not the case. And as an example, I took the 2015 Ukraine power grid attack. Now, I don't know how you are acquainted with this incident. What happened is that Russians penetrated the certain parts of power networks, electrical power networks of Ukraine, and turned off the power. Now, the point here, very important, is that this cannot be done by people knowing cyber, aka attackers, hackers only, because attackers know how to reach certain point within the network, but they don't know how to operate power network, because power network has very good protection, safety protections, and it's not so easy to shut it down or to create damage, because there are decades of experiences that were used to build protective measures. So basically, when we look at the cyber operation, we're actually looking at the two different parts. The first part is bringing us into the position to do something, and the second part is to do something. Now, in the case of pure cyber attack, it's a bit harder to determine where is this borderline, even though it depends obviously on specific cases. But nevertheless, for example, if I'm a cybersecurity, if I'm cyber operations operator, and I have some hackers, I won't use hackers for things they are overqualified, meaning to exfiltrate data or to delete data and stuff like that. I will take someone who's of little or of lesser capability and tell him, okay, do that, and use those guys that know how to attack for something else. So basically, the key point here is that we have two parts, and whoever knows cyber kill chain, which actually tries to model attack, knows that there is a final stage, which is action on objectives, which actually goes into that direction that we have. We first must get into the position to do something, and then we can do something. But cyber kill chain is actually not so good model, and it's totally different story, so I put it here just to show that actually it's not so novel thinking, that there are obviously some similar ideas already. Anyway, to come now to cyber operations and information operations. So cyber operations actually can support information operations as a technique. And I gave here examples of what I, as an information operations operator, might request from the guys that are doing cyber operations. I might request them that they compromise certain newspapers or news portals in order for me to be able to inject this information there. So this is a pure cyber attack that brings me into the position for me as an information operations operator to do something. Then I can ask them to compromise as many websites as possible in order, again, to plant this information throughout this website. And basically what I achieve in that way is that Google or similar search engines will quote it up and obviously rank it higher. Then I can use cyber attacks to disable spread of real information by, for example, utilizing denial of service attacks. I forgot botnets. Botnets are something that criminals basically use or maintain, better to say, and actually botnets are a very good tool for information operations. And the final one, Black Hat SEO, namely it's the way how to raise on search engines your results so that people see it first. Obviously something the information operations operator would like to do. And finally, the relationship between different actors, because I said warfare is not anymore confined to the military or to the nation state. There are different groups that can engage into this activity. And here are several of them. For example, we have nation state, obviously. They are traditional ones. Then we have cyber criminals. They personally, or not personally, they by themselves are motivated by money or profit. And they don't care about this information and whatnot, but they can be used by nation states, as is the case in Russia at least. We have also private companies. The recent case, week or so old, is that, there was a leak in China that showed that China massively used private companies in order to hack around the world, in order to steal trade secrets and so on. Now, in democratic countries, there is the legislation strong and the judicial system is good. Criminals, cyber criminals, and shady private companies are actually prosecuted and try to be kept at bay. But in countries where this is not the case, there is a strong connection between the three, which actually creates a lot of problems, as is witnessed within the cybersecurity for some time now. And basically, that's it for the audience. I think I'm on the time.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.